I know that there's a lot of stuff that's been going on out here since hostile environment, and you may have some mixed feelings about where we stand, and I'm out here to explain this to you so there isn't any misunderstanding, because let's face it, we're about to face Billy Buck and Mikael Judas. If we do not come together as a team right now, it's going to be a long night for everybody involved. So here's, at hostile environment, I know that it was awful what Mikael Judas did to you, and I know that you hold some tiny bit of animosity towards me as if it was my fault, but I just want to explain to you what happened that night when I saw what was going on, and I came up on the apron, and it's true, I was feeling a bit sick that night. I had a case of the whooping cough, and I got a little dizzy, and when I saw you falling through the ropes, I tried to catch you, and it somehow propelled you back into Mike, but I assure you it was entirely accidental. I had no ill will towards you. I had no reason to want to see Mikael Judas chokeslam you. So you need to know that that was not on purpose. And BJ, we have the utmost respect for you. You were a great champion. The only thing is your run's over. And now, the Jagged Edge is going to be the next heavyweight champion. And I understand that's difficult for you to swallow, but that's exactly where we are right now. But the point of all this is we have to be a tag team tonight. We have to set aside whatever differences you may have with me or with Jagged Edge, because if we don't, Mikael Judas and Billy Buck, hey, we've all been out here with them. We know what's going to happen. So let's all come together on this. I can see from the look on your face that you're in total agreement with everything I say. So that's a huge plus. So let's just come together. Go ahead and shake his hand, and let's come together as a tag team. All the hell with you. Just get him out here.
John, I don't know how these two teams are going to coexist in this main event, as they've all been rivals within recent weeks. The Priest of Punishment, Mikael Judas, recently taking Wild Billy Buck to the limit in a heavyweight championship match. Jagged Edge, the #1 contender for that heavyweight title. One of the men he beat to become that #1 contender was his tag team partner, former heavyweight champion BJ Hancock.
And let's not forget, the two outside the ring, Miss Rachael and Jeff G. Bailey. BJ Hancock and Miss Rachael are saying that Jeff G. Bailey was solely responsible for Miss Rachael being chokeslammed by Mikael Judas, and there's a lot of resentment there between Jeff G. Bailey and Miss Rachael. It seems to me by what Jeff G. Bailey is saying, it's all water under the bridge. It's been patched up, and I think Miss Rachael was in agreement with him. I don't know, but I didn't look at it from here.
She seemed less than thrilled, but...
Well, that's just the look on her face, though. It's frozen there. But you got Mikael Judas and Billy Buck. They're the only two who maybe has some kind of respect for each other. We've seen that, that Anarchy title match where these two men, like I said, they took each other to the limit. Billy Buck, in the end, came out as, the winner. Mikael Judas.
Jagged Edge had enough. He comes in. Atomic drop. Could be a choke slam. BJ Hancock pulls Jagged Edge. We may have some unity here between the elite team and Ms. Rachael's team.
Oh, no. Did you hear that? BJ Hancock looked at Jagged Edge and said, I saved you, you owe me. It's selfish reasons. The Jagged Edge, BJ Hancock outside the ring here. Billy Buck.
It was a very risky move by Billy Buck, though, being the heavyweight champion. He could injure himself.
Yep. Well, BJ Hancock, former Anarchy heavyweight champion, won that title as a result of a forfeit by Billy Buck, and then lost the championship to Billy Buck back at Season's Beatings.
That's correct.
And right now, Mikael Judas, a former Anarchy heavyweight champion himself, stalking outside the ring here.
Ducks the clothesline, slides between the legs. Jagged Edge this time with an assist. Sends Billy Buck into the guardrail.
Taking a look outside the ring here. Jeff G. Bailey, Miss Rachael.
I think he had his jogging shoes on. He got out of there in a hurry. featured contest this week.
A featured contest that features a total of 6 Anarchy Championship reigns. 3 from Mikael Judas, 2 from Billy Buck, 1 from BJ Hancock.
And a partridge and a pear tree.
Well, I was going to say the only one in this match that hasn't is the Jagged Edge, who has never held the Anarchy Heavyweight Championship.
He could very well be that next man in line, as he is the #1 contender for the Heavyweight Championship, currently held by Wild Billy Buck.
Both these teams, a lot of history involved in this matchup between these 4 men. But like you said, it was most recently that Jagged Edge defeated BJ Hancock to win that opportunity to be the #1 contender. Billy Buck recently defeated Mikael Judas, successfully defending that Anarchy Heavyweight Championship. You have to know that these 2 men right now, even though this is a tag match, these 2 men right now have a date with destiny, a date that includes that Anarchy Heavyweight Championship. BJ Hancock kicked to the ribs there of Billy Buck.
We talk about the animosity between Hancock and Jagged Edge. Hancock cost Jagged Edge a tag team championship opportunity recently here on Anarchy Television when the Devil's Rejects took on Jeff G. Bailey's Elite.
Exactly, and that's ironically enough. Think about that for a second. It was BJ Hancock that cost the man that is his partner tonight, and the Elite, the man that's at ringside with his partner Jeff G. Bailey, those tag team championships recently on Anarchy Television. So like you said, I mean, like this right now, this is like a boiling, this is like a pressure cooker, and it's just waiting to boil over. It's just something's going to happen. Something's going to cause that spark, and we're going to see that St. Elmo's fire in there.
You know, this is kind of the powder keg that the Anarchy matchmakers have thrown the match at. Just waiting for it to go poof.
And this is, and like I said, you know, and this is how you know. This is how you know you're stepping ever closer to hardcore hell. Think about it, man. Animosity at an all-time high. The pressure's there. And right now, the Anarchy Heavyweight Champion and the #1 contender, one-on-one in the center of the ring in this tag team matchup, of course. But you had to think, Jagged Edge knows that he wants to make a showing on Billy Buck to put in the back of Billy Buck's mind. Can Billy Buck beat the Jagged Edge?
You know, I've just been sitting here thinking, JJ, there's even more animosity between BJ Hancock and Jagged Edge that goes back well over almost 2 years, because Jagged Edge was one of the 2 superstars that ended the tag team championship reign of BJ Hancock and Joey Reimer.
So, it's long running, and right now when you put these 2 combustible elements this close together, forcing them to work together, I mean, anything could happen.
You know, granted, the BJ Hancock that's in the ring right now is not the BJ Hancock that held the tag team championship with Joey Reimer. You know, there's 2 more years experience. There's a new intensity there. Oh! Good way to dislocate the elbow.
You know, like I said, there's 2 more years experience. There is the fact that that BJ Hancock was an Anarchy Heavyweight Champion. That adds a whole new level to your game. That adds something totally different there than when you come into it. And right now, look at this. Mikael Judas being this crowd behind Billy Buck.
It's getting to a fever pitch in here. As Billy Buck just thrown through the ropes into the floor by Hancock. And you know, do not make Mikael Judas mad, BJ.
And I'm not gonna try to point fingers here, but if you notice, BJ Hancock threw Billy Buck right at Jeff G. Bailey. Jeff G. Bailey had to flee away because he's sending a message to Jeff G. Bailey there.
There's a chance it was intentional. There's also a chance in the heat of the moment he had no idea which direction he was throwing it.
I don't know. You can't convince me of that. A pro like BJ Hancock knows where he's at in the ring at all times, knows his surroundings. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm not trying to point fingers. I'm just saying it looks to me like BJ Hancock was trying to throw Billy Buck into Jeff G. Bailey, maybe to send a message.
Jagged Edge stomping away at Wild Billy Buck.
And look at that standoff right there between Mikael Judas and Jagged Edge. Mikael Judas, the 3-time Anarchy Heavyweight Champion, standing outside watching his partner, the current 2-time Anarchy Heavyweight Champion, struggle with Jagged Edge. BJ Hancock outside the ring, mocking the fans here, mocking Billy Buck, the man that defeated him for that Anarchy Heavyweight Championship. Dee Byers right there in the face of Billy Buck, looking for a submission. What a way for it to go into the heavyweight title matchup for Jagged Edge if he was to defeat Billy Buck here.
Billy Buck trying to get away as Hancock came off the rope. Drives the elbow into the arm of Billy Buck.
And right now looking on is Jagged Edge. Also Miss Rachael and Jeff G. Bailey looking at their respective charges in this matchup. Mikael Judas is just inching to get in this ring. I mean, this man is intense. We talked about during that heavyweight championship match that Mikael Judas is probably one of the most intense individuals in Anarchy Wrestling.
Behind the referee's back, Jagged Edge was stepping on the throat of Wild Billy Buck,
making it difficult to breathe.
BJ needs to watch out. He's inching ever so close to the Priest of Punishment, Mikael Judas.
Put a foot up there too to make, to add a little bit of oomph into that turnbuckle. And Billy Buck,
is he going to double up? No.
Anyway, Billy Buck crumbled down to the mat, now back up to a vertical base. Oh, able to, didn't get it, no, he was just inches from attack, spine buster, and right now both men down. Billy Buck, all he's got to do is roll over. He's 8 feet away from Mikael Judas. All he's got to do is roll over, reach that hand out. Look at the reach of Mikael Judas. Both men are down, but both men are very close to their respective corners. There's Billy Buck. He makes a turnover.
Is it going to be, if he rolls over right now, it's that bad arm. Tag is made. You can hear the impact of those shots by Mikael Judas. Suplex by the Priest of Punishment. And for the cover, BJ Hancock in to break it up.
2 count only, and BJ Hancock going right after Mikael Judas. Sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to go for the biggest one in the yard. But Mikael Judas reverses out. Maybe not the most sound advice for BJ Hancock. Oh, big kick. Rocks BJ Hancock, and now
a choke slam by the Priest of Punishment.
Mikael Judas looking to that top rope now. Jagged Edge is down in the center of the ring.
I've lost track. Who's legal?
I believe right now it's Mikael Judas and Jagged Edge. I believe are the 2 legal men. Billy Buck wants the tag. He knows that somewhere down the road he's going to have to fight the Jagged Edge. Wait a minute. Rocket launcher into a body press. And Billy Buck, I would have gone for the pin there. Instead now, setting up.
The Priest of Punishment coming out on the floor after Hancock.
Oh, wait a minute. We can see a choke slam outside the ring here.
Oh, that was low.
Low blow there by Miss Rachael. Wait a minute.
What did he just hit? Is that a shoe?
That looked like, that looked like Jeff G. Bailey's shoe.
A tag made. 1, 2, 3.
Your winning team of the Jagged Edge and BJ Hancock.
Wait a minute now. Look what we got going on in the center of the ring here. BJ Hancock stole the victory from Jagged Edge. Jagged Edge was going to go for the pin. He did the blind tag in. BJ Hancock comes in. They win the match. And Jeff G. Bailey telling Jagged Edge not to get upset. Let's just leave. BJ Hancock defeats Billy Buck in this tag team matchup. And you have to wonder what this has in store for the Anarchy Heavyweight Championship picture.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed that in 2 weeks, on March the 14th, the Anarchy Wrestling Heavyweight Championship will be defended as Wild Billy Buck defends the title against the Jagged Edge.